Ernest Shackleton was an Irish explorer who gained fame after exploring the Antarctic on his ship, Endurance, in 1914. However, what made him gain prominence and the honor of knighthood was his actions when he and his crew became stranded after their ship was destroyed by ice only 6 months later. His leadership skills are remembered to this day because the way he handled obstacles and kept his crew safe is considered remarkable, as anyone who would become stranded in such harsh conditions were considered beyond saving. Shackleton's success is due in large part thanks to his leadership, mental toughness, and perseverance. Before we begin, make sure you like and subscribe, and if you like to support the channel, please check out the link down below so we can keep spreading this valuable information. Part of Ernest Shackleton's excellent leadership instincts were how he recruited the perfect crew for this mission. Before ever setting sail, he interviewed each member, looking for qualities that he considered important before ever asking their qualifications. To the astonishment of many of his crew, he never asked as to their experience in their fields or their education. Instead, he would choose people he thought looked as though they would be humorous, optimistic, imaginative, and brave. Shackleton went through over 5,000 applicants, looking for the ones he resonated with the most. His strange recruitment methods could not be fully replicated. It was his own intuition that led him to choose the oddest but most incredible crew possible. When men choose their own companions or are deciding who they should trust with something of importance, they need to think about qualities that go beyond the surface. Some might think to hang around people that they think will give them an advantage in life. Maybe their friends tend to be attractive or wealthy or well-connected. These are not always the most important things to base decisions on. While these are fine qualities and attributes, they do not speak to the quality of a person. They do not speak to their spirit. This goes for choosing romantic partners as well. Perhaps their choice in a partner tends to be toward those with superficial beauty and charm, but little underneath. This cannot lead to any long-term success if they lack character depth. It is not unusual for people to be deceptive or shallow with little grit to their spirit if they have never had to work for those qualities. However, if a man chooses a companion that is not the most beautiful, but they are funny, loyal, and kind, that will make up for any perceived lack of beauty. This is how Shackleton chose his own men. A trip to the Antarctic can quickly turn deadly, so he kept in mind that the men he chose could one day have his life in their hands. What is more, he chose a crew he would be able to enjoy on long, dark nights in the Antarctic. This, too, can be a lesson people could use today when choosing friends. Which people bring the most joy and security to your life? Those are the people who should be treated as friends. If there is ever a shadow of doubt surrounding a person's character and motivations, they should not be trusted. Leadership requires a man to know which men to promote to their positions and how much he is capable of doing, and when he needs help to make up for his own shortcomings. He knew himself well and did not put on airs about himself. Shackleton showed this quality when he did not bother asking his scientists about science, as he would not even know whether something they said was correct or not. He did not hide his shortcoming from any of the crew either, saying that he believed a man could be a good navigator or a good scientist, but not both at the same time. Perhaps this explains why he chose to pick his crew based on character traits and other skills, like being a good singer instead. He never tried to micromanage and second-guess his men. Men who know themselves will make better choices in the long run. Part of leadership is having a mastery of oneself above all other things. Knowing your own strengths and weaknesses without delusions of grandeur are the most important thing if one wants to be a successful leader. How many times do we encounter a fool who lacks self-awareness and overestimates themselves? Shackleton is a testament to what can be done when a person accepts their limits and works within them. This was only possible with mental toughness. It can be difficult to face your inner truth or to admit weakness or ignorance. The mental strength of Shackleton and the crew is what helped them keep their heads when they realized they were stuck in the Antarctic, 800 miles from any civilization. Instead of descending into anarchy and violence, he decides to make a plan and rely on each other to survive. Mental toughness is being able to cope with the stressful demands of everyday life, not just when survival is on the line. Today, men must cope with struggles coming from every angle in their lives. Being able to remain confident, secure, and optimistic are all signs of mental strength. Not giving in to other people's doubts and pressures to go against what you know is right for you. And in any situation you encounter, there is always temptation to fall into what is easier or faster. For example, coming home from work, tired and hungry, It would be easier to just order food from McDonald's or eat something unhealthy like chips and ice cream instead of preparing a balanced meal. There are many ways to promote mental strength in your day-to-day life. Laughing frequently is a way to combat dark moods and divert the mind to more entertaining and joyful topics. This can also be described as practicing mindfulness. Being mindful is the ability to distance oneself from unhelpful thoughts, feelings, and actions. When in a difficult position or situation, it is important to maintain a clear mind to find the best path forward. The same can be said when attempting to make the best choice possible with clear pros and cons. Cultivating your mental strength is the only way to avoid falling into these pitfalls. Perseverance was the most important quality shared by Shackleton and the crew. They showed this quality most prominently when they spent nearly 2 months attempting to pick away at the ice that had trapped the ship in the snow. However, Shackleton realized the situation could not be maintained and commanded them to stop their efforts, wisely realizing their hard work would not be enough to save their ship. This did not mean they quit on finding a way to survive. Instead, they celebrated special occasions, sang and played music, exercised in the snow with their dogs, and enjoyed lively conversations. Men today could take so much from this situation. Continuing on a difficult path is only one piece of the puzzle. Have you ever been in a situation where you are working toward a goal but are seeing no results? Working out every day but not seeing any noticeable improvements perhaps? Well, that does not mean halting the work going into your goal, but it does hint that something must change. It could point toward the problem being some other aspect of your lifestyle, like diet or environment, that is contributing to the problem. Shackleton knew that he and his crew were putting in the work every day to free their ship, but that did not matter when, in working to break apart, the ice was also eating into their dwindling supplies of coal and food. They also realized that in chipping at the ice, they risked breaking apart the frozen ship with it. A change in strategy is not quitting, only readjusting. Having the strength to say something is not working is part of combining mental strength with the insight of a good leader. Growth can only happen when a person is uncomfortable and when they are willing to face new challenges with determination and optimism. Showing dedication to a goal and keeping hope alive is the most difficult part of achieving any new aim. Perseverance is half the battle in every situation. The crew knew better than anyone the dangerous circumstances they were in, but they did their best to keep each other in a strong mindset to face their deadly setback. By remaining calm and cheerful, they not only helped themselves, but bolstered their brothers. This can be seen in group dynamics today. At work, the best person to be around is always the happy and productive member, as they set a good tone for the entire day and for the people around them. The greatest bosses are also those who know how to inspire a good work ethic and a happy environment for all of their subordinates. Sharing more food and encouraging recreational activities are classic ways of doing this, something Shackleton attempted even in the middle of an icy landscape, with no way to communicate with anyone outside their own little crew. A person's mindset also ties back to mental toughness. A mentally strong person will not allow their own psychology to beat them. They push forward regardless of anything else because they know the most important factor in any equation is not the opposition or the obstacle, but themselves. Persevering despite the odds is heroic and character building. The reason Shackleton was knighted was because he set himself apart from all the rest. It is expected that when disaster strikes, not everyone can or will survive, and he not only beat the odds in all common sense, but brought his whole crew with him. The leadership, mental toughness, and perseverance of Shackleton and his crew is legendary to this day.